After a long amount of time, I'm finally back to Blender, and I'm just hungry to learn something new. Having Blender EV tutorial video completed and seeing that people like to learn about stylized renders in my channel, I thought that I would make another video on it. I did it the last time with the Kuwahara filter video I made before, so the requirements are still the same as before. No shader. I want to use some kind of filter that can be done in compositing mode, and I want to be put on the whole rendered image or video to save time. I don't want to add shader to every object I put in the viewport. So as usually, I saw this YouTuber Acerola again. He was talking about using Gaussian blurs to create edges, and I was like, huh? Gaussian blur? The same Gaussian blur that makes images blurry? So leaving his video in the midway, I started learning what a Gaussian blur actually is. Turns out, it can actually do a lot more than just blur the image. Basically, Gaussian blur is a type of blur. Gaussian blur is a type of blur, and the way blur works is by averaging out color value of neighboring pixels around a sharp pixel, resulting in an image that has less details and blurred look instead of sharp look it previously had. Gaussian blur is a fancier blur with better control over the smoothness of the blur. But here's the interesting thing. Since Gaussian blur filter works around sharp points, taking two Gaussian blur with different blur values and subtracting them would give us sharp edges, because all the smooth areas that both blurs retain cancel out. Let's see how we could do it in Blender. Alright, so as you can see that this is where I'm going to do the Gaussian blur thing that I was talking about. So here's my image, and here's a viewer node. I'm sure you know how to do this by going in composite mode and using nodes or whatever. So I'm gonna focus on the thing that I was talking about. So yeah, so let's just first of all get a Gaussian blur, right? Just go with blur and get a blur. So we need two blurs, remember? So we're going to duplicate that, and then we are going to take this, the subtract mode, right? So let me just add that as well. So mix color is what you want, and then you just connect both these, and then do the subtracting, and then connect it to viewer. So right now it won't show anything because we haven't connected this, so we are going to connect that. So now as you can see that it is not showing anything, which is completely fine because we haven't put the Gaussian blur. So let's just give it a value of like 9, 8. It should be really sharp. If you want to have sharp image, you have to make this sharp as well. So right now as you can see that if I put 8 and 9, it shows lines, the edges that we want. And so yeah, so right now it is colorful, and if you want to not have it colorful, you can easily, like, I don't know, get the hue saturation value, and then connect that, and then use that for both. And then you would just turn that off, and there you go. You have this dark black and white edges that you want, and you can do different kinds of things here, different kinds of mode. You can experiment with it, and obviously this would differ. This kind of result would differ from image to image. It probably wouldn't be looking this amazing if that image doesn't have sharp points, but this one had, but that's why it is showing like this. So you can experiment with it. If you would make a very big difference, then it would show like that, really blurry. And so you would, if you need really sharp edges, then you would have to put both these blur not at the similar and not at the same, because if you would put it on the same thing, as you can see, if I put it on same, it won't show anything, which is obviously if I subtract the same kind of blur, it would not be anything, right? So that's why you would have to have a difference. But if you have too big of a difference, it will be blurry. So that's what you need to keep in mind. If you put it on this side, you would have this kind of effect, which is great. Okay, so the more advanced version of that is going to be this. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to change that the same way that I did before, but we'll add something else as well. So I've already done that here, but I'll show that how to do it from the scratch. So again, the same way, we are going to go get to blur node, right? And this time, instead of like getting, what did we get before? I forgot. The hue saturation value, right? Instead of taking that, we are going to get this brightness contrast, and then what we are going to do is connect this here and here, right? So now, as we did before, we'll connect this here. I'm sorry, like using mixed color node, we'll connect it here, and then we'll take this, and then we'll connect here. We'll change that to, right now we'll change that to subtract, and then we'll take that same value like we did before, 8, and 9, right? So now it looks like that. And just like I said before, like it really depends on the kind of image you have, because right now here it is not looking as amazing as it was looking before, but we can change that. We can make that in a different way. We can make even better. So okay, so let's just add another node, another mix node. So let me just duplicate that and connect it here. And then what we are going to do is we're going to change the values of these. Like right now I'll put it to 18, and I'll put that to, I don't know, 103. All right, so as you can see, something is coming along, but we're going to do more things. So now we're going to put this one on difference and this one on divide. All right, so as you can see, it looks really rough. That's not what we want. So what we are going to do is, first of all, making the contrast 1. All right, it didn't do much, but now what we will do is change the size of this blur to 0.1, and now it is more finer, but still it didn't do anything great. So what we will do is we will take this image and then connect it here. So now as you can see that, I'm sorry, we also have to change the size of this blur as well. So keep it 0, and there you go. We would have this kind of weird negative looking render. I don't know if it looks good or not, but to me it looks cool. And you can change a lot of different things if you want to see what would work or what wouldn't work. So right now, as you can see, if I put it to some different place. Like, I don't know, let's just do saturation and maybe change the size a bit. You can do different kinds of things with this. Here's a better image where you can see the Gaussian blur edge detection happening. So if I unmute everything, as you can see, now it looks even better. We can increase the hue if we want. We can keep it whatever it was before normally, or you can just mute it and we can see how great it looks. So yeah, it also depends on the kind of image you have, kind of render you have, which really changes the effect that it has. So yeah, so these are some of the ways you can use the Gaussian blur to have some different kinds of effect, which are kind of like Photoshop filters, but still it is great to know that even, you know, a blurred thing, the Gaussian blur can do such kinds of things. So I don't know, it is interesting to me, and I didn't know about that before. But anyway, I don't know, like, subscribe, whatever the hell it is. And yeah, so if you want to watch my previous video where I did all that stuff but with other kind of thing, like, I don't know what it was, like Kuwahara filter that I talked about, you can click the link which will show right about now, I guess. So yeah, I hope it helped.